1. Conor Benn has been working hard, showcasing his lightning-fast punches during his training camp as he prepares for his upcoming fight against Chris Eubank Jr. Darren, till it's predicted that the fight will be a 50-50 contest. While he acknowledges that Eubank Jr. is likely the more experienced and heavier fighter, he believes Benn has the edge and will come out on top. Till also mention that if Benn wins, it could raise questions about Eubank Jr.'s future in the sport. He made it clear that even if Eubank loses, it won't affect his legacy, but he feels that Benn holds the advantage going into the fight.
Yeah, maybe then you just don't know. Maybe where does he go from there if Conor beats him? I'm not trying to say Conor's any lesser, but yeah, Chris is obviously the guy who should beat him because he's a lot heavier, maybe more seasoned, but you know, it's definitely a 50-50 fight in my eyes. I think Conor's going to beat him. So yeah, you can see where that thought process comes from. But you know, who knows? I know Chris likes to play poker a lot, so maybe comes back for the money or something.
Teddy Atlas explains that Benn is an aggressive fighter who loves to take charge. He controls the pace with his skills and technique, always moving forward and looking to dominate. On the other hand, Eubank has a more defensive style. He likes to control the outside, using unorthodox shots and waiting for his opponents to make a mistake before catching them with precise, awkward punches. This style can be frustrating for his opponents, as Eubank waits for them to get too eager before making his move.
Aggressive, likes to be aggressive in a responsible way, but he likes to be on the offense. He likes to be the boss coming forward, and he has good skill sets, good technique. And then, of course, you have Eubank, who likes to control the outside. You know, he likes to snipe you. He likes to catch you coming in. You know, he likes to throw awkward, unorthodox shots at you from different angles. You know, and make it a fight where it's frustrating for you. Where, you know, if you're coming a little over anxious, you know, he can catch you with a sniper shot. So you got two contrasting styles.
Atlas also discusses the weight difference between the two fighters. Benn is naturally smaller, while Eubank is the bigger fighter. The fight will take place at a catch weight, which is common in boxing. Atlas mentions legendary fighters like Sam Langford, who competed across multiple weight classes, showing that moving up or down in weight isn't unusual. This adds an interesting layer to the fight between Benn and Eubank, where contrasting styles will come into play.
It's a fight, and then you got the weight. You got to figure that in too, because you got Benn, you know, where he's a naturally smaller guy. Obviously, Eubank is naturally a bigger guy. You have a compromise in the weight. You have a catch weight. Yeah. But again, that's history. The history of this sport, you go back in the 20s to 30s, but even before that, catch weight fights happened all the time. You had lightweights like Sam Langford. You guys don't know Sam Langford.
I know.
Sam Langford, oh my God.
Yeah.
You got to talk about Sam Langford. Yeah. I mean, this is a guy that fought from lightweight to heavyweight, and he beat them all. I mean, so it's nothing new to have guys moving up or moving down in weight in this great sport.
Yeah.
However, Conor Benn is known for his explosive punching speed, delivering powerful and fast strikes. His training camp focuses on improving his agility, reflexes, and stamina. This includes intense sparring, strength conditioning, and technical drills. All this preparation ensures that Benn remains quick and precise in the ring, giving him an edge over his opponents. Liam Smith argues that even fighters known for their toughness, like Chris Eubank Jr., can be knocked out if the right punch lands. Smith challenges the idea that some fighters are invincible, pointing out that anyone in the sport can be hurt by a perfectly timed shot. He believes Benn has the power to do what others thought was impossible, just like he did when he stopped Eubank in their previous fight.
Do I think Conor Benn can knock Chris Eubank Jr. out? Yeah, and let's go back to what I said before I done it. You're deluded and you're crazy if you think fighters of this level can't hit you on the chin and do damage to you. And I said before I stopped Chris, when you probably yourself and everybody else made out Chris can't be stopped to the head.
I said, don't be fooled and don't be so gullible, don't be so naive to think Chris is, dynamite and can't. Chris is, like iron and can't be knocked out. It's anybody on the chin with a Towns glove on. With a shot you don't see can be knocked out, and I proved that with Chris, and Conor can do the same thing. Yeah, I think he hits hard enough.
Conor Benn's training routine is intense and focused. He trains at a mix of boxing gyms and strength conditioning centers, incorporating heavy bag work, mid-session sparring, and speed drills to improve his overall boxing skills and conditioning.
Touch, express, 2. Yes.
Little nigga frog dead, dog. He shot my little.
Sam Jones believes that Conor Benn will come out victorious in this fight. He points to Benn's youth and energy as key advantages, while also recognizing the challenge Eubank Jr. faces after his heavy loss to Liam Smith. Jones notes that Eubank showed resilience in their rematch, bouncing back and defeating Smith. However, Jones feels the timing of the fight is perfect for Benn, and he expects Benn to come out on top.
I just think Conor Benn's going to win. Too young, too fresh, and although, listen, Eubank, it took a lot for him to come back after getting viciously knocked out by Liam Smith to come back and beat Liam Smith.
Jones also noted that the time.
Jones also mentions that if Eubank Jr. had signed with a major promoter like Frank Warren or Eddie Hearn earlier in his career, it could have led to even greater success. He describes Eubank as charismatic, humorous, and articulate, but still believes Benn has the upper hand in this matchup. Benn's explosive punch, youth, and stamina are key factors in his favor. His extensive sparring with top-tier fighters has sharpened his skills, making him a dangerous and dynamic competitor.
I think the fight's happening at the right time for Conor Benn. I think the fight's happening at the right time, and I favour Conor Benn in the fight.
Yeah.
I think Eubank Jr. is good for boxing. Genuinely, I think Chris Jr. is good for boxing. I think that if he was promoted by a Frank Warren or an Eddie Hearn back in the day when he turned pro, he would be an even bigger star than what he is now because of how he is. He's funny, like he's mild. He's quite funny, isn't he, Eubank Jr.? He speaks well, but yeah, I think he's good for boxing. But I just think Conor Benn's going to chin it.
Hearn has backed the fight between Benn and Eubank Jr., calling it a fair and competitive matchup between two elite boxers. He dismissed claims that the fight might be one-sided, pointing out the historic rivalry between their fathers. Nigel Benn and Chris Eubank Sr. Hearn emphasized that the animosity between their sons has turned this into one of the most intense and bitter rivalries in British boxing today.
What the circus is and what you're a fool to buy into, it's a really good fight. It's a 50-50 fight between two guys that are world ranked in their division. I mean, he's making out like neither of them have ever boxed before. They're both useless. It's a mismatch. It's not. It's a 50-50 fight between two world-ranked fighters who, by the way, fathers happen to be Nigel Benn and Chris Eubank, who had the biggest rivalry ever in British boxing, and, by the way, whose sons now have, by far, the biggest rivalry in British boxing that is venomous, that is violent.
Ricky Hatton shared his thoughts on the upcoming fight, noting the excitement around Benn's decision to move up 2 weight classes. He mentioned that Benn has never faced an opponent like Eubank Jr., especially at a higher weight, but praised Benn's confidence and relentless drive. Hatton pointed out that while many see Eubank Jr. as the favorite, Benn's strong belief in himself could make the fight more competitive than expected.
Interesting to think, to be honest with you. I mean, Conor's going up for 2 weight divisions. He's not fought anyone like the people that Eubank Jr. has fought, at his own weight, let alone 2 weights above. So it'll be very interesting. But Conor has a huge self-belief and drive, to be honest with you. A drive like his dad, the Benn family. I've never seen a family with more drive and determination. So I think everything's pointing at Chris Eubank Jr. But I I think I might have a sneaky few quid on Conor, to be honest with you. His drive and his confidence and his self-belief is something that I've only ever seen in a handful of people, and he's going to need that, and I think that might be enough against Eubank.
Joe
Gallagher expressed doubts about Benn's chances against Eubank Jr., noting that Ben lacks experience against top-level fighters compared to Eubank, who has faced stronger competition. He highlighted Eubank's notable victories, including wins against George Groves, Jordan Yaram, and James DeGale. Gallagher emphasized that when Eubank is fully motivated, his size and power will make him a tough challenge for Ben.
Southern, English, British, European. And looking at his last performance in America or two that he had while this was going, there was nothing to suggest you could beat Eubank Jr. Now you look at Eubank Jr.'s resume, yes, it's 35, 36, but he was in the World Boxing Super Series against George Groves, a big super minute. He went to Turkey and knocked out Yildirim. Then he ragdolled James DeGale round the ring. He's got that experience, and when he's motivated and focused, we're seeing what he did to Liam Smith. I think Eubank Jr. I just think he's too big.
Hamza Shiraz predicted that Ben would defeat Eubank Jr., but personally hoped for an Eubank victory. Shiraz explained that if Eubank won, it could open the door for a future fight between them, which he sees as a significant opportunity. He also mentioned that if Eubank wins the WBC title, he would be Shiraz's preferred opponent for his first offense.
But I kind of need Eubank to win. Do you know what I mean? For myself, from a selfish perspective, I need him to win.
Did you want to fight him?
Yeah, exactly.
Would it be the first offence if you win that, or when you win that WBC title? Is that someone that you would choose?
100%. 100%. As long as obviously everyone's okay with it, it'd be that. I mean, why not? It'd be the biggest fight for me next in boxing, and I haven't got long left in the 160-pound division, so it's not me going on about taking certain defences. It's all about just fighting the big fight.
Jamie Moore acknowledged that both Chris Eubank
Jr. and Conor Benn have a knack for generating hype, which has built immense anticipation for the fight. He pointed out that the reported 120,000 people in the ticket queue highlights the excitement surrounding the event. Moore also noted how the spectacle draws in not just hardcore boxing fans, but also casual viewers, which helped expand boxing's reach and benefits the sport as a
sort of top 5, 6 who fancies having a little dance with Jack, we're more than up for.
I imagine something's going on behind me there, so you just started laughing. But I just want to get your thoughts on a couple of other things. Speaking of controversy earlier on in the sport, Gervonta Davis, the 9th round. What did you make of it, Jamie?
Yeah, listen, he's gone down. He's took a knee, which should have been counted as a knockdown, and then that changes the scoring again. But listen, he's got away with it. You know, sometimes you get away with it, sometimes you don't, and such is life. But
when predicting the outcome of the fight, Jamie Moore favored Eubank Jr. due to his superior experience and history of competing at higher levels and in bigger weight classes. While Moore acknowledged the uncertainty surrounding Eubank's ability to maintain strength at the lower middleweight limit, he ultimately believed that Eubank's size and experience will be the deciding factors in the fight.
Ringside, with instant replay, who looks at it, and at the end of the round, they go around to the judges and they go, actually, that should be counted as a knockdown, so make sure you do it on your scorecards. At the time, you know, a lot of sports are using technology now to be able to make sure that they get decisions right in refereeing and stuff like that, so maybe that's something we could look at.
On the UK scene, Eubank Benn, we had the press tour last week. What did you make of it, or what did you make of Eggate, and what do you make of the fight?
Listen, they know how to sell a fight, absolutely. Both of them, Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn, they know what they're doing, they know how to sell a fight, and everyone's talking about it. So job done. You know, I seen a thing that there was 120,000 people in the queue for tickets, so if that's the case, then phenomenal. And it's the type of fight where people who aren't boxing fans are going to be watching, which brings in a whole new audience, which is only a good thing for
Gareth A. Davies pointed out that the excitement surrounding the fight between Ben and Eubank Jr. has reached new heights, especially after Ben's 2 positive drug tests. He predicted that Ben will approach the fight aggressively, driven by years of frustration, which could make him a dangerous threat early on. However, despite Ben's determination, Davies believes Eubank's experience against top-level competition will give him the edge, even after his knockout loss to Liam Smith. Davies foresees Eubank winning by decision.
Bigger than it ever was. It's 3 times bigger than it was before the 2 positive clomiphene tests. Ben's dangerous early in that fight, in my view, because he's coming with all that stinging venom and kind of pent-up aggression that he's developed over the last 2.5 years. But I think Eubank's fought the better level of opponents, even though he's aged 2.5 years and he's been knocked out by Liam Smith. I go Eubank on point.
Davies also pointed out.
Davies also emphasized the buzz surrounding the fight's buildup, especially with the involvement of Nigel Benn and Chris Eubank Sr. He pointed out how the Fathers' rivalry adds extra drama to the showdown. While some may underestimate the significance of the fight, Davies argued that the history between the two families makes this a must-watch event, especially for those who remember the iconic Benn versus Eubank battles of the past.
The fathers involved, April the 26th. Nigel and Conor are both emotional, and Chris both play the villain, don't they?
Okay.
Even though I think in this one, Eubank Jr. is going to be able to sit back a little bit. Yeah, some people are saying that they don't think the fight means anything, but I think the bloodline in British sport.
Any man in the UK who's watched the Dad's fight are desperate to watch this.
Carl Frampton viewed Chris Eubank Jr. as the favorite, but noted that his performance would depend on how well he handles the weight cut. Frampton explained that Eubank has fought at 160 pounds, not 168 pounds, and weight cuts become tougher as fighters age. Frampton held off on making a prediction, saying he'd need to see how Eubank looks on the scales first.
Weight and what he looks like on the scales, and the 10-pound rehydration clause is going to be difficult for him. I've been kind of criticised a wee bit because I've been saying he's been boxing at 168. He hasn't, he's been boxing at 160, but the point I was trying to make was he has boxed at 168, and as you get older, you normally go up the weight, you don't come down the weight, so he's, it's hurting him now to do 160, and I need to see what he looked like on a scale before I make a prediction.
Barry
McGuigan favored Conor Benn in the fight, citing concerns over Chris Eubank Jr.'s durability after his knockout loss to Liam Smith. McGuigan recalled how Eubank's chin was once a strength, but he now believes it may no longer be as reliable. He described Benn as a faster and more explosive puncher, capable of hitting harder than Smith. While acknowledging Eubank's size, McGuigan ultimately leaned toward Benn despite Eubank's toughness.
Eubank, if he's at his best, could beat him. You know, it might be a little bit too much of a jump, but I don't know. Don't know. But Conor, you know, there's just don't know.
So, what are your thoughts on this? Share your thoughts in the comment section and make sure.
26. What do you think about the fight? Share your thoughts in the comment section and make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video.